Let's look at Bitcoin Cash. First off, read this disclaimer carefully. Then do your good deed of today by liking and subscribing. Bitcoin Cash. Here is it. Let's jump right into the charts. Here is Bitcoin Cash, US dollar. Yeah, let's use Coinbase. Really low. You could argue that it's at horizontal support. This is not the worst place to buy it historically. Looking at the dailies, it's messy. We have a lot of resistance above us. The 10-day moving average here in muscle colorish, then 20-day moving average here in purple. Yes, it's interesting, but it's not like a clean one. RSI also a bit messy, same with the PPO on the weeklies. On the dailies, I do like what I see in accumulation though. The bulls are buying, bullish, the divergence between price and actual volume. So there is an inflow of buyers. So technically speaking, it's messy, no doubt about it. It's frankly a bit more potentially bearish. The problem is this 20-day moving average, which recently it's so obviously been a problem level. Even today, we aren't really like challenging that moving average. Frankly, we're also getting into trouble here with the 10-day moving average, which is not what you want to see. So let's go into my notes here. So what do we have here? We do have 20 DMA resistance. However, we are also simultaneously at horizontal support. So if you like take the average of these two signals, I think I will give maybe I give the bulls a bit of a benefit of the doubt. I give them a 2, more bullish than bearish. Looking long term, like years, I would maybe give it like a 8 on the technicals here, bullish 8, but that is looking really long term based on the weekly chart. But the current setup is basically just a 2. Let's look at the seasonality. Seasonality is really interesting. Green the last 5 years, blue the last 7, especially here into early July. This is really good seasonality. The problem, at least recently, is this June. June is not a good month. Simultaneously, we are really low. July is way more bullish. So in this case, the seasonality is also messy. So I think I frankly will give the 2 to the bulls on seasonality as well. It's more bullish, but there's also some potential bearish factors here that could pose a problem. I don't give fundamental ratings on cryptos. They are simply too disconnected from fundamentals. And that is because the people who trade cryptos more actively, they don't do it based on fundamentals. They just don't. When you analyze a stock, looking at fundamentals makes a lot more sense because there's a lot of money that is just completely moved by fundamentals. Hence, taking into account fundamentals is tradable information, but that is simply not the case here for the cryptos. Bitcoin Cash versus US dollar correlation long term with S&P 500 is 39%, 75% with Bitcoin. So there's a high correlation with Bitcoin, but very far from perfect. Minus 72 with the dollar index. Short term with the daily data points, 36% with S&P 500, only 44% with Bitcoin, and minus 13% with the dollar index. So what happens with Bitcoin? Bitcoin USD is definitively going to have an effect on Bitcoin Cash. I currently have a nice position in Bitcoin. I really like this red 200 week moving average. Nice and clean. It's been also pretty nice and clean for the bears in the past, so this is a very tradable moving average. So this week, so far, it looks pretty good. There's a bit of a hammerish pattern. All in all, it looks good. dailies. I don't like that we lost the 100-day moving average in blue. We are getting above it, so that's not so. So like there is some repair happening, but you don't want these candlesticks. This day, 24th of May, was completely unnecessary, just completely. But yeah, now we are also above the 20-day moving average in purple, which also is good. Seasonality for Bitcoin, decent into early June, then some weakness, but then a strong period. Table view for June, messy. It can be really bearish though. July is more bullish than bearish. Now let's compare Bitcoin Cash with Bitcoin / US dollar. So let's do it like this and like that. BT like that, and we use Coinbase. So Bitcoin Cash has never underperformed Bitcoin like it is doing now. You could argue that that is contrarianly bullish. RSI also pretty low, but not extreme. Dailies, we're seeing some. So Bitcoin Cash, it did outperform a bit, but then now it is pulling back. It has a bit of a tendency to move in these cycles. If we do get a completed cycle here, though, let's look at some of the previous cycles. Yeah, if we were to get that, it could actually mean that Bitcoin Cash will underperform Bitcoin, which would frankly make sense given the strong technical signal in Bitcoin that you simply do not have in Bitcoin Cash. The seasonality for the pair, we usually see Bitcoin Cash outperform into early June, but then substantially weaken. Here is June table view. Not favorable to Bitcoin Cash, meaning it usually underperforms Bitcoin significantly. July is a month where it might outperform. Might. Okay. In this case, I do think actually I will give the bears one here, a -4. We end up with 0. So, yeah. We do have a bullish and bearish entry signal. We have 20 daily moving average resistance, which is bearish. We are at horizontal support, which is bullish. But this is very like, what do we do? So I think that the conclusion here is basically that Bitcoin is way more interesting than Bitcoin Cash. With Bitcoin, we have a clean support level. And there's just more reasons to be bullish. If Bitcoin were to lose that 200-week moving average, not good. You don't want to lose it now. You just don't. So long term, I'm definitively bullish on Bitcoin, but I do want to see some strength pretty soon, though, because we have seen this movie in the past where Bitcoin goofs around at support. And if it does it too much, then the bears can get a bit aggressive, and also the bulls can panic. And if the bulls panic and the bears get aggressive, then you definitively go down. So it is important for Bitcoin to really get a move going. Okay, so we do have some time left. Let's look at some securities here in the Boost watch list. These are securities for which there are leveraged ETFs that can be traded bullish or bearish. That makes them very tradable and a lot of fun to trade. Also, due to the liquidity of these, there's also a lot of option strategies that can be employed to trade bullish, sideways, or bearish trades. Here is GDX. This is one of those that I considered going short. I was actually considering going short around here. I didn't, unfortunately, very unfortunately indeed. It could have a very nice gain now. Pull back, 14% with leverage, a lot more, but yeah, it's what it is. We've seen a pullback here in gold miners, but not yet buyable. Let's explore a bit further, because that's the thing. Like if you missed a bearish trade, maybe you can gain. Well, you can participate in the bullish trade. Looking at daily RSI, is this a favorable level to short? No. It is, however, rather interesting for a bull. It's rare for us to go lower, so yeah, this one is Interesting. And this is the dailies. On the weeklies, let's look on the weeklies when the data loads. As I've had some issues with the trading view recently, but not huge, but it's a bit slow. Yeah, on the weeklies, we do not have a screaming buy. Seasonality, bullish here to the left into 8th of June. The 8th of June keeps repeating. There's definitively as like the 7th of June, 8th of June, definitively an important date for seasonality. June can be bullish or bearish. More bearish though than bullish. So there's that. Okay, we looked at Bitcoin Cash, US dollar, pretty much ended up throwing that trade out and going for Bitcoin instead. Sometimes you have to do that. We also looked at GDX. I am really tempted to buy GDX though. Maybe buy the Nugget ETF, which is leveraged. What we saw on RSI on the dailies was really interesting. We don't have like a clean technical support though. Like on the moving averages and the chart itself, price action, but RSI is also very watched, so I'm definitely going to consider that. Yeah, but yeah, it's just important to, whenever you put on a trade, to have a thesis, and also to know sort of when to exit the trade, because if the trade doesn't work out, you want sort of like the hit in your account to be small. You want like maybe 1 to 3% loss. Maybe you don't want like a 10 to 30% loss on like a trade that didn't work out. So yeah. To get more intel, you can go to VIP access on diamondarm.com and stay tuned for more.